A very good morning to you on this very bright and sunny Friday morning in the Bay. I'm Terry Martin, and if you've reached this channel, you have reached the fifth connection, the channel on which we are given to talking you through the storyline of the scriptures. And this morning, we are in Ephesians chapter 6 and verse number 13. The beauty of war, because war is about victory, success in the teeth of defeat, because life springs out of death. And the Christian imagery has to do with nothing short of that. Death and resurrection. Transformation is about change. That change is prefigured and illustrated in the cross of Calvary and in the empty tomb. Because you see, transformation has to do with your level of perception. You can only see what your level of transformation allows you or permits you to see. The truth is there. It is there, but you can't see it. Reality is really real. It's right there, but you can't see it because your perception is clouded. The milk of the meta story of the scriptures is for babies, but meat is for the mature. Meat is for those who have, listen to me now. My wife doesn't like that description. Listen to me now, because it sounds so scholarly. It sounds like school. But you need to be attentive here, because meat has to do with depth perception. Those of us who wear glasses know that these spectacles help us perceive depth rather, not death. Depth perception is what we see through these glasses, and we see clearly. But from a spiritual standpoint, I can only see clearly once I've gone through dying and rising, dying to the old and alive to the new, putting off the old man, putting on the new. Seeing clearly is what meat is about. It's really about wisdom living. Wisdom living has to do with depth perception. And wisdom is not something we can hotwire. It's something that we learn and reach for in the warp and the woof of life. There's no algorithm to wisdom acquisition. But it's something that comes to us as we walk with God and transform deeply. So when we look at Ephesians chapter 6, the whole talk about war and warfare, from verse number 10 all the way to verse 20, it's a block of the story that talks us through this frame. It's a war frame. But Paul has been preparing his readers for an appetite for this war frame from verse 1 of chapter 1. So if you've not been tracking from verse 1, you will really miss what 6:10 to 20 talks about, this block of the story. Because not only is there a backstory, but there is a front story that's unfolding. The plan is in the prompts enfolded. The prompts is in or are in the plan unfolded. All right, 1, 2, and 3 is the plan. It's the onto-epistemology of the Christian, the follower of the way. Who is he and what is he or she? And then once there's a deep understanding of who we are and what we are, our being, then the prompts become clear. 4, 5, and 6 are what we call pre-wisdom prompts. They are not wisdom. They are prompts in the direction of wisdom. For example, 4 to 6 does not explain how you will solve a problem between a husband and wife when there is unfaithfulness, or how you will change a bolt on the rim of the tire of your vehicle and do it effectively, or how to change a sump seal that seals that part of the engine so that the oil doesn't splatter. They are prompts, pre-wisdom prompts. What's a prompt? A prompt is like a goad. What's a goad? The sharpened edge of a long stick that was prodded into the flank of an ox to get him to go. And a jab pulled it off. Just one jab got him to go. And it's about get up and go because you understand who you are. But for most followers of the way, they got up and go. They get up and go, just got up and went. And said, ain't there. And you're a bit older now. You're a bit slower. Some of us are more lean. Some of us are a little more plump. And so our movement is impeded because our spiritual perception is blunt. We have lost our Gillette edge. Verse 13 says, therefore, based upon the foregoing discussion about this warfare being spiritual and it is waged in the realm of all causes, the heavenly places, that causes things to happen and decisions to be made. Therefore, verse 13, take up the whole armor of God that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, because there will come times when hell breaks loose in your life and you feel the bite of the nail and you feel the jerk of the bridle in your mouth. I've often wondered, what would it be to be a horse? What would it take to feel like a horse with a bridle in the mouth? That small bridle controls that huge animal. But it exerts some force and at times even pain. And there will come times when the battle is so hot, when the heat is so great that I want to bail. Take up the whole armor of God. The people of God, the assembly, is called upon to don the battle dress, put on the full armor, equip yourself fully, rig yourself out with this toolkit. And he's going to explain what the pieces of that toolkit looks like, the armor, in 14 to 20. Take up the whole armor of God that you may be able to withstand. Standing and withstanding. What does it have to do with 3 or 4 times in this block of the story? The writer encourages followers of the way to stand. What does it mean to stand? It has to do with strong alignment with the Logos. What's the Logos? The divine word. What's the divine word? The incarnate Christ. That's the one who is our armor. Listen to how I'm saying that. Christ is the one who is our armor. And when we are strongly aligned to the Logos, what happens? When the heat is on and life crashes in and reality bursts through our defense mechanisms and life throws us a curved ball, we have done all to stand firm. We can take the shots. That's what the text is getting to. You can take the shots because reality doesn't respect your surname, nor your name, nor your pedigree, nor your degrees. In a culture where we are dying by degrees, oh, we need the armor. We need the strong alignment that comes with being in sync with the Logos, that we may be able to stand against what? The chaos and the corruption of, there's that word again, egregores. Stand against these mind-made entities. It's called fortresses. It's called in 2 Corinthians 10 verse 9, strongholds. The word egregores is a good word to explain that. What's an egregore? A non-physical entity that rises out of collective consciousness. In other words, a group buys into, an in-group buys into a set of rules. And out of that in collective consciousness and that interaction in the group rises this mental egregore, this mental entity. You can even call it an ideology, because an ideology is what captivates minds instead of a Christology to captivate our minds. It's Christ and nothing short of him, taking every thought captive, not to an egregore, not to an ideology, not to a mind-created non-entity, but to Christ, bringing every thought into obedience to Christ. It's about a person in a relationship who overwhelms you with love and compassion and kindness and goodwill. That is what this is about. But you see, we so much love the image of the armor and we play around with it, and we don't have a cotton-picking clue about how deep this goes. Don the dress, rig yourself out with the toolkit, because the weapons of our warfare, 2 Corinthians 10:9, are not fleshly. They're not physical. They are spiritual. And they are mighty to do what? To bring egregores and ideologies and mental fortresses crashing to the ground. It's not about rule following. It's about the dynamic flexibility that the child of God has, that the people of God have, so that they can move in the ebb and flow of reality. They can move according to the rhythms and the rhymes of what is really real. God hasn't called us to run away from life and called us to hide in a hole. Sometimes we think if we roll over and play dead, that life won't catch up with us. Well, I'm here to pop your balloon. Life has a way of finding us, the most passive of us. And it doesn't tap us gently on the shoulder and say, yoo-hoo, I'm here. It comes crashing through our defenses. That's why in chapter 5 and verse 15 to verse 24, the writer talks about waking up. Waking up to reality. There's more to life, more to reality than what we think, so that we may be able to stand against the chaos and the corrupting influence of egregores, of ideologies and things that captivate us. This morning, I want to ask you the question, where are you hiding? One who is fully dressed and donning the armor doesn't take flight into a hiding place. He or she stands strong. And the battle here is a corporate battle. It's not a purely individual one. It is fought on the level of the corporate community in the realm of all causes. God has called you onto a battleground, not a playground. And we are still playing, and we are on track here for 30, 40, and 50 years, and we're still playing games with God. Thinking God is one who tolerates games. Our crazy, foolish games. As you go into this Friday morning, you're going to encounter the challenges. The heat will be great. The temperature will be high. How have you postured? How are you posturing for the workspace, the workplace, in your marriage, in your family, to take on what is coming at you? And boy, oh boy, when life comes at us, she is no respecter of persons. But we need to stand strong. I trust that as you go into this day, you will go into this day with a confidence of who God is and the preparations that He has given you to be able to stand. I trust that as you go with God this day, you will enjoy Him. So goodbye for now.